on YouTube, so make sure prepared well and please put on mute. So this is a string JDBC basic example like related to code related operations. So here I am taking string JDBC basic example 3 and the dependencies were JDBC API and boot dev tools and MySQL and Spring Web. So these are the 4 dependencies required for this application. So I just created and I just copy pasted like in this application dot property values only. So here which is nothing but like I've taken port number and URL, JDBC URL and the username of MySQL password, and this is the MySQL driver class name. So once you done that, and I've created some model class for this. So class customer, and here it is the model. So before going to that, and here I truncate the table. Truncate means the table is existed, but the values will be deleted. So I click on the truncate. So when you see the things here, ID, name, age, only these 3 fields I've taken. And right now here, because we are working on JDBC template, so we don't need to use entity annotation here. The entity annotation is related to JPA. So here I'm taking private integer and ID and private string name and private string age and create one default constructor and create one parameterized constructor and create setters and getters. So this is my model class, and later I create a repository for that interface I've taken, and the package was repo. The related was customer repository, which is, so here I've taken that things was like first I need to save the customer, right? So save customer, for that I need customer object. So I'm passing the customer and the return type was void, and next find all, right? So we need to get all the customers who are there in the database. So here we are taking find all. There is no object needed for this. And here find out the customer based on their ID. So customer, the return type, find by ID, and here we need ID value. So I'm passing the ID value here. And later we need to update the customer, right? So for that, here I'm taking the void update customer. Update customer, how can we perform? Based on the customer object, right? So based on the customer object means we need to pass the customer object here, and based on ID, we cannot update entire. If we update the things means it applicable to all the record. So based on the ID only, we need to update the customer object. So we need to update the customer object. So customer ID. So customer object I'm taking based on the ID purpose means. So I passing the ID thing here. And the final one is delete the customer. So here I'm taking delete customer. How can we delete customer based on ID, right? So here I've taken the ID. So this part was done. And now we need to create the implementation. So here I am taking the customer repo YMPL, and here I removed the model and this package as an repo package. So here I'm adding customer repo, add, just click on that and click on finish. So everything is coming here, right? So here we are working on currently private named JDBC template. named parameter JdbcTemplate. So here we need an queries private static final string. So first thing was insert into customer. I'm taking like that. Insert into customer of here we are passing the I mean this model class attributes. So ID, name and age and values. Here I'm using the named parameter JdbcTemplate. So I'm taking like this way colon ID colon name colon age. So this is insert into customer. Then after that we are using all, like we need to get the all records, right? So here private static final string get all customers is equal to select star from customer, and then we need to update the value based on the ID. So update customer by ID, right? So here update customer set name is equal to name, comma age is equal to age, where ID is equal to ID. So this is the query for update. And next private static final string find out customer by ID. Find customer by ID, right? So here select star from customer where ID is equal to ID. And the final one was delete. Private static final string delete customer by ID. So here the query was delete from customer where ID is equal to ID. So we are done with the query. So let's get started to one by one. So for this, I am taking one map string, comma object, map is equal to new hash map. And later here I am putting that map dot put of key value. ID means here I am using customer dot get ID. And then map dot put of name, and here I'm taking customer dot get name, and map dot put of age, and here I'm taking customer dot get age. So then we need to update this thing JdbcTemplate dot update. So this is the query to insert into customer and passing the map values here. So that's it. The record is saved here, and then list to find all, right? So here what should we need to do means, so here we just getting the query. So for that return JdbcTemplate dot which is a query. So for query we are taking get all customers, and here we are using result set which is an extractor, and result set and row number. So here I'm taking that return new customer of rs.getInt. So here this What this means, rs dot get int means the data type. Here we need to use. We cannot use get id, get string. So get int of id and rs dot get string of name, and then rs dot get string of age. So here we are taking like this and return JDBC template. I don't think it's required. Just a minute. Sorry. Return customer and rs dot get new customer. So this is for this, and yeah. So this is for find all, and next for find by ID. So find by ID means which returns what? Object. Object of what? Customer. So here we are using query for object. JDBC template dot query for object, and here I am taking find customer by ID. So here we are passing ID, right? So for that we are taking the named parameter now. So before going to that, we need to set the named parameter ID here. Here ID means anyhow we are getting the passing the value here, right? So we are passing the here and passing the map here, and then here we are taking that new object of I think we can do like that way, or else we can pass like rs colon num, and here return new customer of rs dot getInt of id comma rs dot get string of name comma rs dot get string of age. So that's it. That is the find by ID. And next, update the customer, right? So update the customer means we are passing as is the thing here. Whatever we passing into the save customer, and here JDBC template dot update. So here we are taking update customer by ID, and we are taking new object array of, sorry, map. Okay, so which is not like this. So okay, we are taking like this update mapping ID, and here we are passing the value of ID. Just a minute. What's the thing here? String param source. So we don't need to pass that ID as well here. Okay. So and the next one is delete ID, right? So here JDBC template dot update of delete customer by ID, and here we are passing the ID value now. So for that, because we are taking the named parameter value now, so we are taking JDBC template dot update by batch update SQL parameter source. Oh, sorry. Here I am putting the map. So that's it. Now we are need to create an home controller because then only we can get the things. Home controller, and this is an controller. So here I am using REST controller. So first one by one, we are taking like public string get all. So here we are need to get all the customer at auto while first we need to create and repository, getting the repository here. Then only we will get. So here return report dot find all. Sorry, here this is the return type was list of customer, right? So we are taking like that list of customer, and the annotation was at get mapping of slash customer. Then you will get list of find values. So let's create two dummy values. Ones are age 20, two, Yankee 25, three are the yeah 21. Like that we created three records. So just run the application. Sorry, we are not giving the at repository annotation, so that's why we are facing that issue. Okay, now everything is set and run as Spring Boot application. So running here. So we are getting the all the three values, right? Hello? Hello? Yeah. What happened, man? Get mapping customer. Now we are getting the ID based on the now we are getting the customer based on the ID, right? So customer find by ID. Here we need to pass the ID as an parameter. So and here we are already getting the report dot find by ID of ID. So then here we are using at path variable because we are passing the variable through path in the sample application. So customer slash ID value. So this is the customer. So the ID value means we take pass. So localhost 8082 slash customer slash 3. So the ID value was getting. So that thing also fine. Customer ID was getting. And now here I'm using get mapping for a time being to store the to save the customer. I'm giving the normal values only here. Public string save customer. Here I manually given the values. So customer is equal to new customer of currently four. So four Joginder and age was 32. So and later that we are calling that repo dot save customer and the customer and return was customer object saved successfully. So let's try this. Let's checking this thing. So I'm just the URL point was only save customer. So here localhost 8082 slash save the customer value is okay. Save customer is the bigger one. Oh, we are getting an issue. What happened? So let's check that into the database. Okay, so we are not getting the save this value. So new customer and this thing. So customer repository IMPR. So here JDBC template map of ID comma. Okay, here save customer and we are passing the customer only, na? Where is that? Here we are passing the customer object. Then map dot put and customer dot get ID. Just a minute. Why I didn't get the value? Map values are mm, map. So okay, yeah, now I got the same. I think customer slash save customer. So one save customer. I given. Okay, save customer only. So why it's defaultly giving localhost? The URL point was only save customer. So that's why we are not getting anything. Arey yaar. Okay, let it be. Here I am taking only small C only because I don't know. It's it's automatically going into the small one. So save customer. So if we see in the record here, fourth Joginder 32 value is recorded, I mean inserted, right? So then next, so here we are changing the, sorry, here we are updating the customer. So here we are taking update customer thing, and here also I'm changing update customer. So here we need to pass the ID value because based on the ID only we are going to update. So here I'm telling that repo dot find by ID of ID. So when we get this based on the ID, so here ID means, so here we need to pass the path variable of slash ID and here integer of ID. So based on that, we will get the current customer. Then we need to whatever value we want to set means. So suppose if I need to update only the age. Previously, I given the age for Joginder 32. So right now, I realized he is the only 25 years of person. So that's why I given the customer dot age 25 and then repo dot update customer and ID. So like that I'm giving. So then we are going to here. Localhost 8082 customer Joginder name was 4. So update customer slash 4. So the customer object saved successfully. Let's find that whether his age was changed or not. See the age was changed. And finally the delete one. We are going to create that. So at get mapping slash delete. Sorry here delete customer slash based on the ID only. We could be able to delete the customer. So public string delete customer. So here also I am taking a path variable of ID and integer of ID. So then return, sorry, repo dot delete customer based on the ID and return customer object deleted successfully. And this is customer object updated because this is the updated one. No? So deleted successfully. So let's try that one. Localhost 8082 and delete customer. So the value was 4. So customer object deleted successfully. Let's check this. So the values are deleted as this. I mean, all code-based related operations successfully covered in this example. Thank you.